Everyone on the ranch had given up on the dog. Handlers, sheriffs, trainers, no one could control him. He growled at every command, snapped at every hand, and slammed against the gates so violently that even the toughest men stepped back in fear. They called him Rogue, the wild police dog who failed every evaluation, who trusted no one, who attacked anyone who dared come near. The sheriff finally ordered him to be put down. "He's too dangerous," he said. But on the day of Rogue's final test, a stranger walked in. A quiet veteran with tired eyes, an old backpack, and scars he didn't bother hiding. Everyone expected Rogue to attack. Instead, the veteran did something so unexpected, so unbelievable, that the entire ranch fell silent. What happened next didn't just shock the onlookers, it changed Rogue's life forever. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Dust swirled across the old ranch yard as trainers gathered near the wooden fences, their expressions tense. Inside the pen, a powerful German shepherd paced back and forth like a trapped storm. Ears pinned, fur bristled, eyes blazing with distrust. His name was Rogue, a police dog once full of promise, now feared by everyone who came near him. One handler stepped forward, holding a leash with shaking hands. "Easy, boy, easy," he murmured. Rogue exploded. He lunged at the fence with such force that the wood rattled. The handlers stumbled back in terror. Several ranch hands cursed under their breath. No matter who tried, experienced officers, seasoned dog trainers, even K9 specialists, Rogue attacked, growled, snapped, refusing all commands. "He's a lost cause," someone whispered. Another muttered, "He's dangerous, too dangerous." The sheriff arrived, jaw tight. "We've tried 8 trainers," he said grimly, "and we're out of options." The words made the entire ranch fall silent. Rogue slammed into the fence again, snarling. The sheriff exhaled deeply. "If no one can tame him by the end of the week, we'll have to put him down." Gasps rippled through the crowd. No one could imagine a future where Rogue wasn't a threat. No one, except one man who hadn't arrived yet. The next morning, the ranch yard was unusually quiet. The handlers stood together, whispering about Rogue's fate, when the sound of steady footsteps echoed across the dirt. A man approached, broad-shouldered, sun-worn, carrying an old military backpack slung over one arm. His clothes were dusty from travel, and his eyes held a depth that made even the sheriff pause. He looked like someone who had seen too much, lost too much, and survived all of it. "Can I help you?" the sheriff asked. The man nodded once. "Name's Jack Lawson. Heard you've got a dog no one can handle." A few ranch hands snorted. "You're welcome to try, old man," one said sarcastically. Jack didn't bother to respond. His gaze had already shifted to Rogue's enclosure. The dog was pacing aggressively, kicking up clouds of dust, snarling at anyone who got too close. Jack walked toward the fence calmly, hands relaxed at his sides. "Careful," a trainer warned. "He'll go for your throat." But Jack didn't stop. Rogue spotted him, froze, then charged at the fence with a thunderous growl, body slamming hard enough to shake the boards. Everyone flinched. Everyone, except Jack. He simply stood there, eyes locked on the raging dog, unmoving as the dust swirled around him. "What are you doing?" the sheriff snapped. Jack exhaled slowly. "I'm letting him see me," he replied. The ranch hands exchanged stunned looks. No one had ever stood their ground like that, and Rogue had never reacted this way before. By noon, the ranch workers had gathered around Rogue's pen, whispering bets about how long the veteran would last. No one expected courage. They expected a stretcher. Jack removed his backpack slowly, set it on the ground, and stepped toward the gate. "Don't do it," the sheriff warned. "He'll tear you apart." Jack didn't answer. He simply opened the gate and walked inside. The moment Jack crossed the threshold, Rogue exploded forward like a bullet. Dust shot into the air. The dog snarled ferociously, claws digging into the earth as he charged. "Jack, get out!" a handler screamed. But Jack didn't run, didn't fight, didn't even lift a hand. He stood completely still, shoulders relaxed, breathing steady, like a man facing an old memory instead of a threat. Rogue skidded to a halt just inches away, circling him like a wolf testing prey. His teeth flashed. His tail was stiff. His growl rumbled so deeply it vibrated the ground. Everyone held their breath. Then Jack did something shocking. He slowly lowered himself to his knees and bowed his head, not in fear, but in understanding. Rogue stopped. The growl faltered. The dog sniffed the air, confused. This wasn't the reaction he expected. This wasn't weakness. It was something else. Jack whispered a single command, soft, familiar, military-grade. Rogue froze. His ears twitched. His tail shifted just slightly. The ranch hands stared, jaws dropping, because for the first time in months, Rogue didn't attack. He listened. Rogue stood frozen, chest heaving, eyes locked onto Jack as if searching for something buried deep in memory. The ranch hands silently watched, confused and shaken. No one had ever stopped Rogue. Not trainers, not officers, not even tranquilizers had calmed him this way. Jack slowly lifted his gaze, meeting Rogue's trembling stare. "I know that command," Jack murmured softly, "because I trained men who used it." The sheriff frowned. "What are you talking about?" Jack didn't take his eyes off the dog. "Rogue wasn't always like this. He had a handler, a good one. A man who trusted him, and a man Rogue trusted back." Rogue's growl softened, shifting into a painful whine. Jack nodded gently. "Yeah, you remember him, don't you, buddy?" The sheriff stepped closer. "How do you know about his past? We barely got any files." "That's because most of it was classified," Jack replied. "His handler was military K-9. He served overseas before joining law enforcement." The ranch fell silent. Jack's voice lowered. They were ambushed on a night mission. Rogue saw everything. His handler didn't make it. Jack swallowed hard, emotion tightening his throat. A dog doesn't forget losing the only person he trusts. Rogue slowly crawled closer, his tense body sagging with exhaustion and grief. Jack whispered, "You weren't angry. You were hurting. You weren't wild. You were alone." The dog lowered his head into Jack's lap, the first gentle gesture he'd shown since the day he lost his partner. Every man watching felt their chest tighten. Rogue wasn't a monster. He was broken, and for the first time, someone finally understood. The ranch hands watched in stunned silence as Rogue rested his head in Jack's lap, trembling, not with rage this time, but with years of bottled-up pain finally breaking free. Jack didn't rush him. He didn't speak loudly. He simply sat there, legs crossed, one hand resting gently on the dirt. Hours passed. Rogue stayed close, pacing in small, nervous circles before returning to Jack, testing him, studying him, trying to understand why this stranger wasn't afraid. Jack finally whispered softly, "I'm not here to control you. I'm here to listen." It was the opposite of everything the trainers had tried. No force, no dominance, no shouting, just patience. Jack slowly raised his hand, not toward Rogue's head, but toward the ground, an old military signal meaning safe. Rogue froze. He recognized it. He stepped closer, inch by cautious inch, until his nose touched Jack's palm. The dog's muscles twitched, ready to retreat, but he didn't. Instead, he leaned in. A collective gasp rippled across the yard. The sheriff whispered, "I don't believe it." Jack stood slowly. "Rogue," he commanded gently, using a precise hand gesture. To everyone's shock, Rogue obeyed, sitting perfectly, eyes alert, ears forward, breathing steady. Another command. Rogue lay down calmly. The handlers stared in disbelief. The wild, untamable dog who attacked everything was now following Jack's every movement like he'd known him his whole life. Jack smiled faintly. "You were never dangerous," he said softly. "You were waiting for someone who spoke your language." The sun was dipping low, casting long shadows across the training yard as Jack led Rogue out for his first real test. Ranch workers gathered along the fence, whispering nervously. Even the sheriff folded his arms, unsure of what to expect. Jack walked slowly, giving Rogue space to move at his own pace. The dog followed beside him, not pulling, not growling, not lunging, just calm. "This can't be real," a handler muttered. But the true shock came moments later. One of the ranch workers accidentally dropped a metal ladder behind them. The loud crash sent everyone jumping back, everyone except Rogue. Instead of exploding with panic like before, Rogue reacted instantly and correctly. He lunged, not at a person, but toward Jack, knocking him out of the ladder's path as it tipped forward. The heavy metal frame smashed against the ground where Jack had been standing just seconds earlier. Gasps erupted across the yard. He protected him," someone whispered. Jack knelt, placing both hands on Rogue's cheeks. The dog pressed his forehead against Jack's chest and whined softly, a sound full of relief and loyalty. The sheriff stepped forward, voice thick. "Jack, if you want him, he's yours." Rogue nuzzled closer, tail wagging for the first time in months. The wild, broken dog had finally found his person.